When you mentioned that so many people are 3 months, a quarter, maybe a year behind, I imagine that's a really common challenge that you see. What are some of the other, maybe the top three big challenges that you see entrepreneurs facing when they're trying to manage their money?
So top three, I would say the number one is that they feel nervous or overwhelmed because they absolutely hate math and they just don't want to look at it. They just can't. It's like a block. And I get it. I mean, some of my clients come to me and they're like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want you to do it. But we talk about it because the whole point is that I want to empower you to know your numbers. And so you're not feeling that deep-seated hatred for your math and your numbers, because it can be scary, but once you know, it's not scary anymore. I promise. So that's the number one: nervous, overwhelmed, hate math. Number two challenge, I would say they really have no idea what they can and can't write off. I saw a post on Instagram yesterday, and this was an interesting one. It was, she is some kind of influencer, and she mentioned that she's writing off all of her facials. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Hopefully the IRS won't come after you. Because there's certain things, and I hate being the bearer of bad news, but there are some things that, like, unless she's being asked to do these facials and out of pocket for these for a certain company, that would be like a write-off. But if she's doing it just for her appearance on a video or on a live or whatever, that's the IRS is gonna start to look at that and go, that's a little weird. Nope, we don't do that. And clothing is a big one that people think that they can write off, like all their clothes. And yeah, unfortunately, as much as I wish it were true, unless it's a uniform, I know this is IRS talk, so just feel free to mute me if you're annoyed with that. But if it's a uniform required by your business, yes, you can write it off. But if it's clothes you bought at Anthropologie because you're doing a photo shoot, you can't write that off, unfortunately, because you can use it for other things than business. So yeah, it's things like that. People just don't know. And then that builds, and then they can eventually get in trouble. And I want to keep you out of trouble. So that's why we do things the right way. So,
do you have any good news for us? You already told me I can't write off my next trip to the spa and trip to the store. What are some things that maybe I haven't written off that I probably should be writing off?
Okay, the very first thing that I have most of my clients look at are their subscriptions. And when I say subscriptions, I mean I call them all the ooms, the looms, the zooms, the Asana, the ClickUp, they add up. And we know if you have shiny object syndrome, like I do sometimes, you're like, oh, that subscription sounds good. Oh, let me do this. Oh, this would really help me in my business. But you're not thinking about these things are adding up. Maybe you don't need them all, and so I can save you money that way. Maybe you're not using it as a write-off because you're paying for it out of your personal checking account. And some people do that. Some people are paying for things because they started out it being like a hobby, or they just didn't think it was going to grow into a bigger business. And so they're missing out on these write-offs that they could be getting. When you take a client out for a meal, a lot of people are very nervous to put that as a business expense. If you talk business, absolutely put that as a business expense. So yeah, there's a lot of different write-offs, but I would say start with subscriptions. That is like my number one place where people are missing write-offs, because it gets away from them and they're like, oh, I didn't realize I had so many subscriptions.
Wait, now, does that even include subscriptions to things like membership sites for your business? Like the people in this mastermind, do they get to write off this mastermind as part of their taxes?
I would say
that would be the best tip that everybody got in the session today.
Yes, I would say, so this is depending on how you want to do it. It could be a membership or it could be education, because As business owners, we're constantly wanting to get continuing education. And so, yes, those things are right offable. That is a word.
It is now.
Right. So I definitely, yes, I'm all about telling you the truth, making sure we follow the rules, but I do want to find as many write-offs as possible for you so that you're not spending as much on taxes. So yeah. And I don't think I got, so that was the second thing.
Yep.
The third thing, sorry, I got off track because I started talking about the
that was
IRS,
me.
and it happens. The IRS just takes you to a whole nother place. So the third thing is, and the biggest problem I think I would see is you just don't have time. You're too busy and you just don't have time to do it. And so that's where I come in because I do, and I love it. And I'm good at what I do. I have over 15 years of experience, and I just really love taking that piece off your plate so you can do what you love to do. That's the whole point, right? Delegation.